Welcome to Crack Pack. My name's Andrew. Today we're cracking open Shadows over Innistrad. Let's get cracking. Our first card today is Militant Inquisitor, followed by Ghostly Wings, Magmatic Chasm, Ghoulcaller's Accomplice, Crow of Dark Tidings, Uncaged Fury, Watcher in the Web, Twins of Morer Estate, Trail of Evidence, Paranoid Parish Blade, Ulvenwald Mysteries, Epiphany at the Drownyard, which for X and a blue is an instant that reads, reveal the top X+1 cards of your library and separate them into 2 piles. An opponent chooses one of those piles. Put the pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Okay, so if X is 0, then you have a pile of 1 card and 0 cards, and your opponent can choose to then give you none, the no cards, and the 1 card has to go into the graveyard. So at 0, this is awful, because you're just never going to get anything. So this is at least 1 in a blue if you want a chance of having any value from it. And since it is revealed, your opponents see exactly what they're giving you. It doesn't say that they have to be in equal piles. So you could say, like, hey, there are 2 lands and a thing in the ice in 1 pile, and then, like, I don't know, a Gitrog monster and maybe just Gitrog monster in the other pile, and they have to choose between those 2. And of those 2, I don't know what I'd pick. I'd probably pick the 2 lands and thing in the ice, but that's probably not. I mean, that's the ideal situation of making it really tough for your opponent to decide how they want to help you. And that's the power of this card, is getting to choose, like, having to make 2 choices for your opponent to look at and have to decide which one it is that you want and which one it is that you're making them want you to have. Now, is this a great card? No, but it is letting you get through your deck a little faster. It's letting you potentially get to more pieces of your combo faster. But it's also, forecasting all of it to your opponent or opponents. That said, have you used Epiphany at the Drownyard? Maybe you played in the Shadows over Innistrad block and you remember using this. How did that go? Let me know in the comments below. Next we have Gatstaff Arsonists, which transforms into Gatstaff Ravagers. Then we have a Sage of Ancient Lore, which transforms into Werewolf of Ancient Hunger. Which this is a star human shaman werewolf creature for 4 and a green that reads, Sage of Ancient Lore's power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. When Sage of Ancient Lore enters the battlefield, draw a card, and at the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform Sage of Ancient Lore. The Werewolf of Ancient Hunger has Vigilance and Trample, and its power and toughness are also equal to the total number of cards in all players' hands instead of just yours. And then at the beginning of each upkeep, if a player cast 2 or more spells last turn, transform Werewolf of Ancient Hunger. So this is a really fun, potentially powerful card, potentially very powerful creature. The fact that you just get a draw card at cantrips when you cast it is very nice, and then it is potentially pretty big when you first cast it and it's the Sage, and it is going to be even bigger when it becomes the Werewolf. And this is using the still less clunky day-night mechanics versus what newer Innistrad sets have, since it tracks each individual card instead of the entire field. How likely is it that you're going to be transforming out of werewolf? I mean, probably pretty likely that every time you get your sage to transform into a werewolf, it's going to just transform back by the time it gets back to you, since it only needs a player to cast 2 or more spells on their turn. And, yes, green is the color of ramp, and you might be able to get this out turn 2 or 3, but even still, if your opponent is running pingers or is just running a lot of 1-drops, then turn 3 is totally reasonable to be casting 2 of those. And if you're getting this late game, or if you're getting this just on curve on turn 5, your opponent absolutely is going to be able to cast 2 or more spells that turn. And if this is commander, it's even more likely, because then you've got 3, 4 opponents trying to do that. That said, is this a bad card? No. Either side of this is good and powerful and would be a board presence that would need to be dealt with, though the sage less so than the werewolf, since the werewolf is looking at every player's hand versus the sage looking at only yours. But let me know in the comments below what you think of the Sage of Ancient Lore. Have you used it? Was it a fun experience in Draft or in Standard back in the Shadows over Innistrad block? Next we have a double-faced card, wild card token, and then a clue token to round out the pack. And pack 1, pick 1 again for this pack is going to have to be the Sage of Ancient Lore. It is a powerhouse, and all while not necessarily forcing you to stay green, it's something that you easily could splash 2 green land, like 2 forest in, to make this possible to cast on turn 5. Whereas everything else just doesn't give something that you're necessarily wanting to build around or just be a good staple for. I feel like the Sage of Ancient Lore would be that. But let me know what your pack 1, pick 1 would be for this pack. And that's all for today. Thank you for cracking along with me. Be sure to check back tomorrow to crack open another pack.